working on his own games in Scratch. He's been doing it for a few months now. He's got quite good at it recently, and I've been helping him with it and stuff like that. But it's inspired me to think about like games, and I'm working on my own game at the moment, just trying to give it a go and just seeing what can be done with like just I want to give it a go. But it's got me thinking lately about like games in the future and where like it can go and how much better they can get. And yeah, it's just made me thought that I've seen on YouTube recently that like Blender, that free CGI software, there's an AI tool where it can like generate assets, models, and stuff like that, and give them textures and make them look quite good. Like making I saw in the link that I've put on this video, there's like people making like a fantasy troll character and stuff like that. It looks kind of cartoony, but it looks like they typed it in and it looked like what they were expecting or what I would expect. And it's just so impressive that we're at a stage where we can just prompt type in something and it just generates it for us. It's incredible. And there was another thing where I watched yesterday that Nvidia or something or Google have given AI uh, given AI a feed of the old Doom game and then remade it using AI. So as the video mentions, this is none of my what I found. This is me just regurgitating what they said. Rather than rendering, it generates the game, and there was so it's such a weird concept that isn't being ray traced or path traced or pre-made. It's generating it from, it's like regurgitating an idea, but you can play it. It's like almost like playing a dream in a way, an AI generated dream. But before I watched that yesterday, the idea of this game came to mind with all this new development and stuff with Unreal Engine and generate AI generating software and horror games in general. I thought this is the idea. I thought the future of like a horror in the future, a horror game should be made where the players can prompt their horrors into the game and it will generate it through AI. I think that would be very interesting. That at the start of the game, when you load in, it'll be called so and so. I think something to do with dreams would make more sense because yeah, I think at the start of the game, you put in a prompt, like it will ask you what you're scared of, where you want it to be, what you want it to look like roughly, and then it will spend like 5 minutes generating a map for you. What? But yeah, I think yeah, you type in a prompt, and 5 minutes later, it will load the game, and it's your own designed basic horror game. So you can put in like clowns or something, scary clowns, and it will make a scary clown. It will make a one figure, which is the monster for the game, and it'll make the location, and the models will all be textured using AI generated stuff. Maybe the locations will be pre-done or procedurally made, but they're like already made, and the only AI generated stuff is the monsters and the assets within that thing. And I think that it would just make a very unique experience for like the players. It will be very personal to what they prompt the game to make, and I think that will be, it means that the game has infinite possibilities. It will always be changing. It can be continuously updated and improved, much like No Man's Sky, which is completely procedure generated, but it's come a long way since it first released. It can be updated, it can be improved, and it means that people can just continuously make their own horror experience. I think it's a perfect method of uh, the gaming experience, and the AI generated nature will also make it kind of like eerie, like not perfectly executed. Like the monster might have some glitches or it might move weirdly, which would feed into the horror of it. That's the great thing about horror, is that you can do anything to an extent with the nature of it being kind of eerie. But yeah, I think that And if that, so it's a unique experience for the player, but they can maybe like take the seed or like the name seed of that generated map and experience and then send that to their friends, and then their friends can experience that. Like if somebody finds something actually quite well engineered and like quite scary, they can send that experience to somebody else and they can play it, and like that will form this whole community of people like finding AI generated maps that are actually kind of terrifying or maybe funny. Like if somebody prompted this AI to be like Thomas the Tank Engine or something like that. I saw there was a game recently where it's the monster is like a train. I think it's based on a Stephen King novel, but yeah, you can prompt like Thomas the Tank Engine as the monster, and it's set in a railway station or something like that. And yeah, it could be just a fun or scary or silly or just mental. It could be anything, but I think there's so much potential there, and technology is getting so much better and better, and it will lead eventually into like it actually being potentially made. It could be a very, because it could run on this, like when I think of it as it's like similar level graphics, similar level of gameplay, like Slenderman, because that was a phenomenon that was like quite popular on the internet, but it was a very basic game of just this, you're in this map, this graveyard or something in this forest, and you have to find notes, and this creature chases you, and it progressively gets harder. And I think that that's a basic idea, and it was basic graphics, but it was so effective. And I think that's the great thing about horrors, is that they can be basic, but as long as you like it's an experience. It doesn't need to be. It can be eerie. That's a great thing, and I think this AI generated stuff can lead into that sort of level of fidelity and stuff. It doesn't need to be really like graphically amazing and stuff like that. But it's. I think it can be quite. I think it could be in the future quite doable to do, especially with the development at the moment. And yeah, it's going to be. I think it's a potential idea that could like work out in the future, and I would love to see that done at some point, because it would be such a unique experience and so interesting. But we'll see.